Hi, it's John with Vision Advisors. Thank you for joining us for another opportunity to learn some unique things that you can use to grow your practice. We've been spending a lot of time as we're getting to a time of year that people are beginning to really look at tools and resources that they need to be able to engage in to take their practice to the next level. And we're excited today to be joined by an organization that has some very unique tools and some very unique features that can help you really pinpoint and target your unique audience and have an opportunity to connect with them in a very unique way. I'm happy to have on the call with me today Daniel Yaldor with Aquire Direct Marketing and LeadJig. And before I go into any explanation of who they are and what they do, I'm just going to turn it over to Daniel. We had a chance to talk about a week ago about what this organization does, and it's the second or third time I've had an opportunity to spend some time with Daniel, and I really like what these guys bring to the table. So I'm going to let him kind of let the rabbit out of the hat and kind of share the story of LeadJig and Aquire Direct and really let you see how their technology and their tools can help you see success in client acquisition and client retention post events that you may be looking to do. So Daniel, thanks for joining us. I'm going to quit talking and let you take the floor.
Excellent. Thank you, John. And we greatly appreciate the opportunity today to walk through, our process and what we're doing to help advisors get in front of new prospects across the country. So it's exciting to be here and excited to share this with everybody. And today we're going to go over a lot of information in a relatively short period of time, but I think the good news is that by the end of this demonstration, you'll have a really good feel for what our process looks like, some of the resources that we have, and some of the technology that we've been investing in to improve the marketing process and specifically the seminar process itself. So without further ado, I'm going to switch my screen over here, and what we're going to start with is kind of who we are and the different parts of our business. So the website that I've got pulled up here as a starting place is touchfuse.com, which is really our parent company or holding company. And the reason that we have that is today that we manage actually 3 different brands under the same umbrella. And really each of these 3 different brands that we'll talk about here today are inputs to our process. They're what we consider the 3 parts of a successful marketing campaign. So the first one that we see here is LeadJig. LeadJig is a marketing platform that we developed here internally from the ground up. Came from an understanding that workshops and seminars are a great way for advisors to get in front of new prospects, but we just felt like a lot of the inputs to that process were relatively archaic. So what we wanted to do is infuse technology, make things more efficient, more automated, provide far more transparency into this process than advisors were used to, which I think you'll see as a theme throughout this entire presentation. But most importantly, what we recognize as a business is that we needed a platform that allows us to manage multiple marketing channels in the same place at the same time. I think advisors recognize that the marketing landscape and channels are constantly changing, digital becoming more popular, direct mail still being very popular. Advisors are using radio and TV to drive attendance to workshops. So we wanted to give them the ability to manage all that in one place and truly understand really what their marketing channels are driving as far as attendance and the types of prospects. So we'll take a good look at that platform and some of the features in that platform here today. The next portion of our business here is Aquire or Aquire Direct. Definitely the core, the spine of our business. Aquire as a firm has been doing direct mail for financial advisors specifically since the early 90s. So 100% of our client base are advisors. We've got a lot of people here who have seen the different changes in direct mail, topics that have gone in and out of favor, campaign styles that have worked and then not worked. So we always try and lean on that experience and guide our clients in the right direction. But really what we try to do as well is concierge as much of this process on behalf of our clients. We want our advisors focusing on what's important, and that's meeting with clients and closing business, not dealing with the intricacies of a marketing campaign. That should be our job here on our side here. And then the last portion of our business that you'll see here is Perspectives, which is a data tool that we developed here internally as well. It's a great planning tool that gives our advisors a real good visualization of all the prospects that are available in their area, where those pockets of prospects might be, and how we should segment that audience in order to have a sustainable marketing model that works for time and time again. So we'll go into this platform here in just a moment as well. But those are all the 3 different parts of our business. Again, we all work in tandem together underneath the same roof. So in the event you'd like to do a marketing campaign, it's not like you have to call 5 or 6 different people here to get something done. You'll have one point of contact here who uses all these resources in the background in order to do things as effectively as possible on your behalf. and certainly concierge as much of that process as possible for you. So what we're going to do now is jump into what I consider step one of our process, and that's the data portion. So this platform is a platform that we developed internally from the ground up. It's a way of displaying all the data that we have access to and that we manage here. So what this is going to give us the ability to do really quick is show you exactly what the opportunity set is in and around your office. So in an attempt to improve this process, as far as what has been the standard for a very long time, we recognize that most of the time when you do a marketing campaign, the first thing that you talk about is geography. Where are we going to be marketing? And historically, that conversation typically went one of two ways. One, you select some zip codes that you want to market into. So kind of leaning on the advisor or the marketing firm to know what exactly that zip code looks like as far as demographics go. Or secondarily, they'll pinpoint an office or a venue for you and draw a nice symmetrical radius, typically 7 to 10 miles around that area. But what we recognized is that 7 to 10 miles across the country can vary widely as far as logistical patterns and logistical timeframes go. So what we wanted to do is establish on the front end a logistical time frame that might give us a better shot at really understanding who can make it to our workshop or seminar in a reasonable amount of time. So in this demonstration, I've used our office as our main point here in Tampa Bay, and then overlaid a 20-minute drive time on a specific date and time. And what this does is it uses historical traffic patterns from a variety of sources to map out for us how far can we drive from this main location in about 20 minutes. And in doing that, we get this kind of amoeba-looking shape that we're seeing here, which is effectively our geographic fence around how far we can get in that time frame. So for a number of reasons, we felt like this was a better model. But here in Tampa, we've got a great display of some of the issues that you can run into in just drawing a 7 to 10 mile radius. These bridges here in Tampa Bay at 6:30 in the afternoon, they're effectively parking lots. It's not a great place to be if you want to get anywhere in a reasonable amount of time. So using historical traffic patterns, we can avoid a lot of those geographic dispersions or logistical issues. We can couple that with the advisor's understanding of what the traffic patterns look like in the area and the flow of people, where they're coming from work or going to work. And we can really figure out what our best shot is as far as our geographical location that we might want to be marketing into. And understanding those logistical patterns can hopefully help us drive a good response rate, but also keep a lot of those attendees because we understand the logistical requirements that they have in order to come to our venue for that particular event. We can also find fractions of a zip code, little areas where a part of that zip code might meet our logistical requirements and the remainder of that zip code does not. This is very good for areas of the country like California, for example, where you've got a lot of geographic dispersions or logistical issues, where the north half of that zip code might be able to make it to your venue in a reasonable amount of time. The southern half of that zip code, for example, cannot. So we can uncover those areas very quickly using drive time patterns on the exact longitude and latitude of this shape here. But then what we'll do is have a discussion around data. Who are we going to be marketing to? So being that we have this platform here internally and then also LeadJig, which we'll go into in here in just a moment, we have a really good feel for the types of people that respond to different topics across the country, as well as across the country what the different footprints look like as far as demographics go. So we'll always guide in that conversation, provide some data and insight around what we've seen work and what we've seen not work. Have a discussion with the advisor, of course, and figure out what your ideal prospect looks like. But in the end, we'll come up to agreement where we have the quality of prospect that you need in order to do business, but then we also have the quantity of prospects to be able to have a sustainable marketing model. In this demonstration, what I've done is plugged in ages of 58 to 68, an income level of 50,000 or more, and then a net worth level of $250,000 or more. When we do that, we get just shy of 17,000 records here that meet our demographics. And if I scroll down, that's what's displayed to us in this heat map style output, much like a Doppler radar, where your darker colors are your heavier saturation of prospects, and your lighter colors are, of course, your lighter saturations of prospects. So if we're using this as a planning tool, much like we are here in December for all of our clients going into January and the rest of the year, we can pinpoint the saturation of people we might be marketing to. Where are the pockets of wealth that we'll be delivering invitations to? And if we can, be a little bit more strategic about how we place our venues. A lot of the times what happens is advisors pick a venue and then we go find the prospects. Now what we can do is see where the prospects are and then attempt to be strategic in placing our venues as close as possible to the prospects that we might be inviting. Again, working on those logistical patterns and logistical issues that some prospects might be running into. And then from a segmentation standpoint, our marketing consultants can start to divvy these prospects into different pockets here. And for those that are more analytical or just curious about certain areas of their geographics, we can show them effectively all the way down to the street level. How many houses per street or per neighborhood might be meeting our demographics here? So at the end of the day, we can be incredibly accurate and granular about the way that we manage data. But I wouldn't say that any advisor needs to get overly inundated with this process. This is something that our marketing consultants are going to do on the front end. They're going to be very inquisitive of not only what are your plans next month, but the month after that, the month after that. Not because we have contracts or anything that people need to sign and commit marketing to us, but because if we have a good understanding of what your plans might be for the entire quarter, for example, we can map out that data here on the front end rather than being reactive to response rates or different campaigns that you might want to run. So really the key takeaway I'd like everybody to have in this situation is we put a lot of emphasis on this as far as data goes, but then also if you run into a situation, for example, where your response rates are not as high as you'd like them to be, our immediate response or resolution to that is not, well, if you want to see more people, it's a simple formula, just mail more pieces. We're going to take a look at logistics, segmentation, demographics, see if there's some kind of improvement we can make on that end before we overhaul an entire program or ask anybody to spend more money here with us in order to improve those response rates. So this is what we consider step one in our process. We call this audience recognition or discovering your prospect universe. This is something that we can produce very quickly and on the fly. So if you are curious about what your audience look like, we're happy to run this analysis for you at any point. The second portion of our process is going to be deciding what style of campaign you'd like to run. Now, our marketing consultants and our firm as a whole have experience with pretty much every kind of event you can think of. You know, events held at restaurants, events held at libraries, community centers, universities, community colleges, pretty much every topic that advisors run across the country we've seen at some point. So we're always happy to have that conversation with you and talk about what we see working, maybe something that we don't see working across the country, if you have some ideas. Also, if you have a presentation you'd like to give, happy to take a look at that presentation and see what we have as far as invitations and bullet points that might support that, that have data behind them as far as driving responses previously, so that we're not beta testing with anybody's money. So we always like to start with things that we know are tried and true. Really no point reinventing the wheel unless we have to. However, we are big into branding and making sure that any adjustments that we need to make to those pieces in order to reflect your brand or your style, we certainly can do here, and our graphics team would be more than happy to take care of that for you. And then the third portion of this process, of course, or maybe the most important process here, is going to be collecting and analyzing our results. So I pulled up a demonstration here, and we'll walk through some of the features and functionality of LeadJig so you can get a good feel for what this process looks like. So here's the platform. This platform is developed in a way that we can do things for you, or we can do things, or you can do things for yourself. Really, it has a lot of customization that you can take into your own hands, but we have a support team here whose sole job is making sure that everything in the system is tailored just how you'd like it, and any customization and adjustments you'd like to make, they can certainly do on your behalf. So we've got our reach, which is the amount of mail pieces that are sent out for every campaign, so we'll make sure that that's reflected accurately there. And then next we'll see views. So for every campaign that we do inside of the system here, from a direct mail standpoint, we're going to give prospects 2 opportunities to register. Number one, they can call an 800 number 24 hours a day. We have our own operator team that will answer the phones for you. They're polite, they're professional, they understand the seminar process, they can answer basic questions, and they're all located here in the U.S. as well. The system will also automatically generate a landing page, which is why you see views here. That landing page can be completely customized to your liking. It includes background images that we can swap out, titles, branding for logos. It can also include a bio section, bio pictures, directions to the event, as well as any disclaimers that might be necessary will be put on that page, and our team can customize that for you and show you copies of that. Or alternatively, you have the ability to come inside of the platform here and customize that on your own as well. So we'll log how many unique page views that gets, which will tie into another portion of the platform here in just a moment. Next, we have total amount of registration, and then referrals. Our landing page has the option for prospects to refer others to your events. Depending on how you feel about that, you can turn that on and off in the preferences section here as well. And then the right-hand side here is our source breakdown, and this is definitely some of the core functionality of the system here. This is where we have the ability to go ahead and manage multiple marketing channels at the same time in the same place. So you'll see we've got direct mail as the core, the spine of our campaign, which is standard for us. But then you can also layer in digital elements as well as email. Digital for us is typically done through Facebook, whereas we prefer to request access to the advisor's business Facebook page and promote those ads on your behalf. We're big into branding. We're big into making sure that the prospects that see these invitations understand that you're the subject matter experts hosting the events. They can click into your Facebook page. They can learn a little bit more about you. They can directly inquire if they'd like. And of course, they can go ahead and register from those Facebook ads as well. And the system will tell you how many registrations you get from that marketing channel. We can also take the direct mail list and append it to known email addresses. Send out an email blast to the same people that might be receiving those direct mail pieces too. So now, instead of your traditional approach where prospects get one opportunity to respond from that mail piece, they can have 4 or 6 different opportunities to respond from different marketing channels, and then the system will tell you who's coming from where. So if anybody does TV, radio, local newspaper ads, you list your events on your website, the school that you host your events at promotes the events for you, we can give you either a unique RSVP code for the web or a unique phone number to track exactly who's coming from where. So this is really addressing some of the issues that our advisors had where they were managing attendance in multiple places because they had multiple marketing channels driving that attendance and collecting that attendance in independent systems. By bringing it all together, we can manage those attendance thresholds very easily and then make sure the advisors understand who's responding and from where, of course. So what I'm going to do here is click into an event date. We'll start to view some of our attendance here and some of the information that we gather. So we've got date and time that somebody registered for the event, the method in which they register. So you'll be able to see in the campaign who responds from what marketing channel and start to gauge the types of people that respond from each of those marketing channels you're using. We can move people across events or across campaigns, of course. We'll collect first name, last name, phone number, mailing address, or phone number, email address, and mailing address. Cross-reference that with our database on the front end and show you the ages and asset levels of people as they respond in real time here. So this has helped us improve the conversation with advisors. Instead of solely focusing on response rates, we can focus on the types of people that are responding, who's actually moving through the sales process, and try and find more of those people to get in front of you. In some situations, it might make more sense to have 35 people in the audience, not 50 people in the audience, but 35 people that actually 100% of them are the types of people you're looking for. And that's really the opportunity that we have in being able to be transparent in who's responding and what kind of data is being used to drive that attendance, of course. And then we'll also automate some portions of this process for you. We understand that there's a lot of moving parts in seminars, so we want to help with that. As soon as Justin registers in the system, he receives an email. Lets him know date, time, and location of the event he just registered for. Day before the event, we'll do 2 things to help with the confirmation process. We're going to send them an email. That email allows them to confirm their own attendance, so they can click into that email, or we'll also send them a text message they can respond to. Either of those will update their confirmation status to confirmed here for you. On average, I'd say we get about 40% of people that confirm their attendance through one of those functions, but we still heavily recommend confirmation calls. They go a really long way in building rapport, and we typically find that appointment ratios on the back end are higher when we've made some sort of introduction from the office to the prospects that are coming to our event. The day of the event, Justin will receive another text message with this address. That's going to go ahead and allow him to click into that address and get directions to the event. And then after the event or during the event itself, we can check people in as attended or no-show. We also have an iPhone and an Android application that you can download to manage this process that will also update the system here in real time for you. But by checking people in as attended or no-show, it's going to send them an email afterwards, either thanking them for attending or saying, hey, sorry, we missed you, but we'd still like to see you. All of that email correspondence that's sent out from the system can be completely customized here in the Content Center. So if you have specific verbiage you'd like to add there, if you've got parking instructions, if you've got room numbers or anything that you want to make sure that people have, we can make sure that we get that information to them in any of those emails that are sent from the system. Another portion of the system where we can go in and adjust that for you, or you have total control of that right here in the Content Center as well. This is also important for us in managing data, which is obviously a good theme here, the importance of data and data management. We'll be able to scrub out all the people that you've marked as attended. Obviously, we lean on you to let us know who was there, but if we do know, we can make sure we scrub those people out from future mailings, so you're not seeing the same people time and time again at your workshops or seminars here. So clicking into a prospect, we'll be able to see kind of our prospect page, kind of our CRM element of the platform itself. So we gauge all the information and details that we collected during the registration process, all the financial information that we can pull in from any source to provide a relatively accurate picture of what their financial standing might be, any notes that you've taken on the prospect or our operators take during the reservation process. We've got the activity stream here, shows you every interaction with the system. You'll see the emails that are sent independently, so you've got a full audit of what emails were sent, were they opened, were they clicked into. And then, of course, for those folks that maybe cancel their attendance because they can't make it or are put on a wait list, you'll be able to see in the future if they respond to another event. So also in this system, you can schedule appointments. So if we have prospects that are attending events and then scheduling appointments in this system, we can see the life cycle of a prospect over the course of your interactions with them directly here. And now we've got all the financial information that paints a pretty good picture of what type of person they are, and we can get really good at who we're targeting for each of our campaigns that we do by referencing this information. This portion of the system also integrates with a lot of the major CRMs that advisors are used to. So if you'd like to pass along this information directly into a CRM system, we have a variety of different integrations in our preferences section. We also have the ability to build custom integrations. So if you've got a specific CRM that you use there and you'd like us to take a look at integrating with that, we'd be happy to. We have our own development team here on staff that can take a look at that. Also here with the scheduling appointment process, we do send automatic reminders about those appointments, similar to the event reminders. So emails and text messages that will go out to the prospects reminding them about those events, of course, too. So back to our event page, a couple little things here in the top right, but this is from a lot of the feedback that we get from advisors and implement here. Sign-in sheets, name tags, we can pause attendance, we can manually register people. If you get an overwhelming response rate, which is obviously a good problem to have, you can create overflow events here, and our operators in the landing page will automatically add those events as options for attendees to register for. So going back to our campaign overview page, now we've got this little button here. It says View Analytics, and I'll open that in a new tab here for us. Viewing the analytics after the campaign really starts to help us understand what worked and what didn't. So it's one thing on the front end to identify all the clusters of people that we want to market to, but it's another thing to be able to look at that in the same manner on the back end and figure out what's working and what's not. So here we have all the prospects that have registered for our events. We can click on these pinpoints individually, see ages, assets, income levels. This view button will take us back to that Zillow housing page as well. And then below that, we'll take your mailing list, and we're going to break it into how many invitations are sent to every age group, zip code, city, asset level, and income level. And then on a relative basis, we're going to see what our better performers are. So this is how we start to figure out over one campaign to the next, really what's working, what's not, what adjustments should we make. Obviously, we're not going to make large knee-jerk reactions from one campaign to the next, but if we can have a discussion of all the people that registered from the zip code here, 19087, they're good quality prospects, that they're moving through the sales process, we might be able to identify that we're getting some good traction in this area, make some adjustments to our data selection in the future. If you run different topics in the system, you'll figure out pretty quickly who responds to what. We can help you manage your data to refine that process and make sure that we're reflecting the best ROI that you're receiving and the best traction that you're receiving as far as ages, assets, and geography goes right within the system here. And real quick, I'm going to hop to another campaign. Being on the topic of social media and Facebook becoming very popular in the advisor space, we also wanted to build some Facebook analytics that will provide advisors a little bit more or far more transparency into that process. So here what we have is Facebook analytics. So if our team is running Facebook in conjunction with your mail, we'll show you each hour of the day, how many impressions we get, what our total reach of people are, our click-through rate as well. In aggregate here, you'll see all the traffic that was received to the landing page. So if we're seeing a lot of clicks and not a lot of conversions, there might be some adjustments we want to make there to the landing page or to the offer itself. And then demographically, what types of people interact with those ads too. So same concept here as direct mail, really. We can provide more transparency into the process, and what we can do is have a deeper discussion outside of just how many people responded and how did you feel about that event. we've got some real data to look at here and have a productive conversation about what adjustments we should make. So the one thing that I'll add here too to the campaign page is that this system is 100% built around the feedback of advisors. We take feedback very seriously and can implement things pretty quickly, being that we have our own development team. So this system is kind of an evergreen situation where we're constantly adding more resources to it and taking that feedback in. So if anybody here has ideas or different ways to look at things, or you think there's some features we could add that would be helpful, we are always open to that. Happy to take a look at it. You know, good chance is that, you know, if it helps you in the system, chances of it helping somebody else is pretty high as well. The system will also send you automatic notifications about things that are going on. If you download the iPhone app, you'll get those push notifications directly to your phone. So for example, if you get a reservation that has a message attached to it that says, please call me before the day of the event, I've got some questions, you'll be able to dial right out from your phone there. If you've got the application, talk to that prospect, jot down any notes inside the system that you might need while you're on the go. Also, that mobile check-in process is very helpful for managing data. And on top of that, I would say that we've got some more features and functionality that will be coming out in 2020. They're going to be very exciting. So if you're just getting used to LeadJig, we'll certainly have a team on staff here to help coach you through all those new features and functionality. Make sure that you are using this system to the best of your abilities and use all the functions that are available. So with that, I would say that's the good kind of 30,000-foot view of the system. There definitely are some other features and functionality built into this. If you'd like to schedule a personal demonstration and walk through this in a little bit more detail and answer questions on the fly, we certainly can do that at any point. So you can always reach out to us or reach out to John, and he'll get you connected with our team over here so that we can have that discussion at your convenience. So with that, I will turn it back over to John, and happy to make any closing comments or answer any questions you might have there.
Absolutely. Now, Daniel, I know one of the questions that's going to come up. Can you go back to where you were just a minute ago on the LeadJig slide? Daniel, can you hear me? Well, we may have lost Daniel, but let me say thank you guys for joining us for this call. If you got any questions, give us a ring here at Vision Advisors, 1-800-505-8489, and we welcome an opportunity to help you connect. This is an amazing way to be able to bring all of the tools and resources into one place for you to be able to design, manage, and monitor and get the results of the campaign that you've been working with. I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.